welcome to the Abnormal, Strange, and Weird podcast, a show dedicated to all such things and everything in between. Now sit back and relax and join us as we talk about weird shit. My name's Patrick Dyer, and this is Amanda Geezy. So what we like to do, we've known each other quite a while now, right? And back we kind of were both in the music business, and we kind of, as we met each other and talked more and more, we found that we both had great interest in the abnormal, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever we don't understand, it's our favorite subject. So we thought we would talk about it in droves for you folks, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. Yeah. So both of us have been talking kind of in the remote viewing area. So we wanted to dive in and see kind of where it was more mainstream and started, ended up where it is now. And we stumbled upon this guy named Andrija Puharich. He was born in 1918, and he was of, I believe, Polish descent. I'm not sure, but he went to medical school, and after he got out of medical school, he just became obsessed with the paranormal and parapsychology. And he was convinced that not only that people were born with psychic ability, but you can also tap into it with other ways, such as psychedelics or meditation or, well, any of those things.
Breath work.
Breath work, yeah. Especially mushrooms, apparently. He has a book called The Magic Mushroom, I believe. I don't even know. But through his studies, he was able to contact, what do you call it? The so-called nine, the ancient Egyptian deities. And supposedly he would do these seances, just in regular old living rooms. He would get all his buddies together who supposedly had psychic ability. And typically they would be able to contact these so-called extraterrestrials called the Nine.
When was this?
He got out of medical school, I believe, in 1951. And throughout that time, he did studies, but not full on until about a year after he got out of medical school. Well, it's pretty interesting because typically it would take at least more than one psychic, either on psychedelics or just the ability to conjure that stuff. Well, it's interesting. It got me thinking because, when I was young, and you've said that you've been able to remote view still to this day, right?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like when I was young, I have these distinct memories of just in my bedroom as I'm going to sleep and being able to just leave my head and just kind of go around the house and look around and stuff like that. And I was able to control the way my dreams went, all this stuff. And I lost that at a very young age. Either that or I had a great, imagination. I'm not quite sure which one it was.
I think we're conditioned out of it.
Well, and that's what I started thinking. It made sense that he would study that. He believed everybody had it and it just had to unlock it somehow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In whichever way.
He was a shaman.
Yeah, I suppose so, in his own little way. But it was most interesting to me is as he studied these, the nine, they supposedly helped guide us through our history.
Yes. And in every culture.
Well, and I was going to say, as people have studied it, they found in Egypt, they were supposedly able to contact the Mayans and ancient Maya, and Chichen Itza, Teotihuacan. They would do these crazy rituals, and were supposed able to contact the same people. So I find that even more interesting.
Yes, the monuments we have throughout human history are, a devotion to such beings. And the ancient Etruscans, Zeus rules with 9 gods: Athena, Poseidon, Aphrodite, Apollo, Hermes. There was one I
Oh
couldn't
yeah, the
like.
ancient Greek too, huh?
Yeah,
Interesting. You know,
yeah,
I was thinking about that too. I would be fucking terrified if I was sitting there and meditating or whatever, and all of a sudden there's these 9 deities just telling me. It would scare the crap out of me. I'm not lying.
yeah.
It would be quite
I,
interesting.
they always appear in a palatable way, and if not, then they retract.
So what does that mean exactly? In a palatable. So it's different for each person?
I want to talk about Dr. Stephen Greer right now.
Well, yeah. I
So,
mean, he
so
definitely has gotten, I don't know if he got his start from this, but he has to have some sort of interest as a child or come
oh
across
yes,
it, or you know what I mean?
he's been in contact, and that stuff runs in families. So, and he had this, major fascination from such a young age, and he became like an emergency room doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was an EMT or not, but
I
he
think
was like,
I read he was an actual physician.
yeah,
Yeah. In the ER.
in the ER.
Or he had,
So
or what do they do? What do they call it when your residency? I think he had to do that in the ER.
he was there at the ER working when he
Mm-hmm.
was accosted by the CIA and what the president,
Mm.
the director of the CIA and the president. And he was just absolutely crushed in that moment because he's like, you people should have a handle on this, and you're coming to me.
Yeah.
So it was then when he dove in and started meditation circles and making contact, that CE5 stuff. And I
Well, and
had
what
watched
exactly is CE5 for people who don't know?
Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind, is where you initiate contact
Yeah,
with aliens, with
exactly.
extraterrestrials, with beings from another plane, however you want to call them. They
Yeah.
show up to you in a palatable way. So whatever symbol you have designated, if it's an alien,
Mine's
if it's
gonna
an
be
angel,
Mine would be some insane thing that would
like a
scare the crap out of me.
like a shadow creature creeping in your house.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's
Probably your higher self messing with you. Like,
hmm?
ooh.
Well, and he's a same proponent. It's all about meditation and what calming yourself and being able to. How does his process work? I don't understand his
So
exactly.
at the end of watching Unacknowledged, he mentioned having guided meditation. So I looked him up and I did it. And it walks you through this method where and a great tool to use, which I used, was Google Earth, where you can do that flyover view. And you go from the whole of our planet, you back up that far and then fly down over directly to your house and just watch that. And you have that image. So essentially, it's you sending out in reverse that image in meditation. So they know where to find you or where you're calling from.
Oh, interesting.
So in the moment
So you did that? You started on Google Earth?
I did that. I practiced. I laid down to meditate with headphones on. Usually I sit and I'm just silent, but I do guided meditations with binaural beats or isochronic tones. Those work really well.
So what's the difference between those two, out of
So
curiosity?
they usually have two different tones or beats, frequencies playing in different ears so that they can sync, your brain syncs up.
That's the what'd you call them?
Binaural beats
Binaural. Gotcha.
and isochronic tones.
Hmm.
And I mean, they work. You can get your brain into theta, which is no, delta is sleeping, or it's below sleeping. It's like astral realm area. I don't know if I'm right on this. I should have looked it up.
It's more than
Anyway, so I was laying down, and I used to do the Merkaba meditation, which is where you create your own energy disc, and they can pick those up on radar. And it's a 17 breath meditation, but I did that one laying down, and I would feel myself peeling out of my body.
And so now when you're feeling that, what's going through your head?
Well, it
Because I remember
takes practice, because I would panic initially.
Oh,
when
I
I was
can
doing this
imagine.
stuff deliberately. Like when I was a kid, and when I tap into that sort of stuff naturally on my own, um, when it's familiar to me, it's always been just kind of second nature. But when I'm doing these practices, um, and using different tools, it was rather startling,
Sure.
leaving my body the first time in that sense, because I felt myself detaching. Like I could feel externally my body,
Sure.
or I don't know if that,
Well,
but I would
well,
get
I
so
ask you because
big.
when I was a kid, I could just feel like this weird sensation in my brain, like this tingling almost,
Mm. Where in
And
your brain?
it was just like it almost felt like it was from the back, and it was like this weird sensation, and then I don't know, and then all of a sudden I would be floating around or whatnot.
Yes.
It's almost like when you are in insane deep sleep, like on muscle relaxers or something, and then you wake up and you just have this weird feeling like I don't know. It's similar to me, but not the same.
The void of dreamless sleep.
Oh, maybe. Well, so you
Well, that's
said
a,
you said when you peeled out, you would feel bigger. Is that what you said?
yeah, I would grow bigger than the parameter of my body. And then I'd feel myself moving through my body and expanding. So, oh, in this meditation, that actually happened and it was familiar. So I felt good about it and I was floating above my house. But before, so I get big and then like I'll expand to pass through the walls. And at that point, I can see every nail and the dust and
Mm,
like the fiber and, from a super, like in a super position.
sure. No. Interesting.
And then
So
I'm floating above.
it's more you're seeing it all at once rather than as like
My
through your
awareness
eyes.
expands, right?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm, that's quite interesting. I'd be all anal, be like, oh man, that nail wasn't put in right. I'd be like looking for that nail later on.
It's so close to like knowing you're God and immortal.
Hmm,
All that stuff is just breathtaking. The gross, just the day to day, all the space between.
sure.
I don't
That's
know. I
quite
always find
interesting.
myself in like bliss state.
Sure. Well, that's good.
I've had people also warn me about what you might find in the astral realm if you're not grounded, if you're not protected, if you don't have all these trinkets. Like the only real like devils I've ever ran into are here in this reality, this
Mm,
third density,
well, makes sense, frankly.
which is, I think it's just a minuscule, minute fraction of what's actually going on.
Yeah,
Oh,
I often wonder about that. If, whatever it is out there, are we where we are in the level of, I don't know, evil? Not even evil, just
density,
disparity or
density and pressure and
because
pain.
just the law of averages, we're probably not the worst and we're definitely not the best. So imagine what else is out there.
We've definitely devolved. Like you go back in history that the civilizations were way more advanced. We still can't figure out how they made the pyramids
Yeah, that's quite
in
interesting.
Atlantis and stuff.
One part of that
So,
is, to me, is just we don't have that time where they just had a lot of time to sit around. You know what I mean?
mhm.
To reflect on their days or what's going on or what's figuring out in the world. We just don't do that. We're like,
Right,
I have
we've
2 seconds. I'm going to
squeezed.
look at Kim Kardashian's ass or whatever. Yeah.
Right. We squeezed ourselves from third density into to 2D
I certainly feel a lot
existence.
better when I step away from all that. And
Hmm.
I love gadgets and stuff. I mean, the stuff we do around here, I just love it. But when
Hmm.
I have the time, I do nothing. And I just try not to think about stuff or if I do think, I try to reflect. So you were doing his CE5, and
The
this is
CE5
when,
meditation.
yeah. And so you did you said you were laying down and you had your headphones on.
Hmm.
And then where did it go from there?
I got big. I started floating above my house. And I'm looking down at my house, and then I kind of like raise up into like that void,
Sure.
and I see an alien face, like a bust. But I've had meditations where I've encountered other beings, and they came to me kind of in the same shape, in like a yantra.
What's a yantra?
So it's a symbol for a deity, but that
Mm.
symbol, like, and essentially, whenever you see a yantra or an idol, like a little statue of it, that's it presenting itself to you in a palatable way. I have these things all around, like,
Oh,
here's
sure. Okay.
wishing you, loving on you. Like, whenever you see that,
So it's not necessarily their true form. It's just what you can handle.
yeah,
Interesting.
but their presence is guaranteed, you know. And so, and I initiate contact immediately. The thing somehow expresses to me a need for me to calm down. It was like, settle down.
Hmm.
And then poof, it was gone. And I woke up and I had the worst headache
Hmm.
of my life, and it lasted.
So what
It
makes you
lasted, I had
why
issues
do you think they wanted you to settle down?
because I wasn't
Just
holding the frequency. I think I just wasn't
oh,
ready for that line of communication. But I was like, it felt like they knew they could talk to me.
sure.
But then I kind of glitched, I guess. I spazzed out a little. It freaked me out because it
Yeah.
was like, it was a face, an alien face with the almond eyes and like tear ducts that went down to like a tiny little mouth hole. But it looked
You could see
all,
the tear ducts
they were
like on the
long. It was
outside.
kind of like a flap, or it could have been
Oh, interesting.
like some kind of apparatus, like in a face mask, like spacesuit. I don't know what I was looking at, you know.
Sure.
But it was intense. It was intense, and I felt it for a while afterwards.
I remember you coming in to see me at work not long after you did that. And you were kind of describing it to me, and I smiled, and you thought I was being a jerk. I wasn't being a jerk. I just didn't know what the hell was going on. I hadn't seen you in a while, and
Like, dude, aliens and stuff. And
yeah.
others, no, that was different. Nope, that was different.
Oh,
That
was
was
it?
different. Should we
Oh,
go into that?
hey.
No.
All right. Another time.
Nah,
We
another
could up to you.
time.
No, I mean, and I mean, as you just said that, when they said settle down, all I could think about is what about from their perspective? What are they
Yeah.
seeing when they see somebody who A is not as in the practice of that, and B, I wonder how many times they encounter folks that aren't worthy, or you know what I mean?
Aren't worthy. I think anybody who makes an attempt to make contact will. And I feel
Eventually, you
like
think?
because there's no limit to who will answer that call. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's
Sure.
not a specific population and their phones aren't ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
But it's more like oh, I feel like they leave, I don't know, they're just, see, and this comes back to what I believe about reality right now at this point in my life. I don't, like, time is an illusion.
Mm,
Our lives are, I mean, our ability to comprehend creates this symbol, this external, like, ever-changing moment. Um, it's all light waves, sound waves, and vibrations. That's why those
sure.
binaural beats and shit work. Like, you can tune your brain to step into the astral realm, and I mean, it boosts your immune system. Dr. Stephen Greer is talking about that, and he put this video out at the beginning of COVID talking about this is like a shift in society. It's not that it's deliberate, but it's beyond our single dimension or whatever that we experience here.
Sure.
Anyway, he's like, this video is going to get deleted. A lot of his stuff is inaccessible unless he guest stars on like a
I've noticed
podcast. It's hard to find his stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I was trying to do some research on like his early life and stuff like that. It's pretty much on his website. And that's about it.
Even Joe Rogan got stripped of his. I didn't even know he did one with him, but
I guess he did too. And I was
two.
trying to read into that, and it was because they couldn't prove the claims, basically. And it wasn't only his; it was like 40 other episodes of 40 other different people. So I think
So
that's more of
interesting.
his move to, the Spotify or whatever they want it to be. But then he put it up on his own YouTube, so it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send it. Well, I want to see. Because that movie Unacknowledged, he had documents. He put them up there. I would pause it and read them, and like it was on there what he was saying.
Oh, sure. That
So weird. Was this when Rogan was with? Was this like Spotify
when
era?
when he interviewed him?
Yeah,
No, it was
it was
pre.
YouTube.
It was when
Oh,
he was doing his own thing or whatever.
hmm.
Yeah.
Did Joe Rogan pull him?
I don't think it was him personally because he put
Oh,
him up on his own YouTube page. So
he put it up on his
yeah,
own.
sorry, yeah,
Okay, that's okay.
but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I find it all quite very interesting. When I was watching that Unacknowledged, I got goosebumps more than once. That's for
Mhm,
sure. I just hope there's something else. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And I'm such a pessimistic jerk, so it's hard for me to say something like that. And we don't
They
really
sh-
understand anything, even a lot of stuff. Who knows in our own body how much our consciousness always lasts, or how long it lasts after we're gone, or was it there before? And you know, it's kind of a dirty trick on
a
being
trick
alive. You know what I
being
mean?
alive.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
if there was something before us in our own consciousness, and then there's stuff afterwards, and we don't know anything about it. It's messed up.
Mhm.
But it also might be a good filter to stop us from either getting too big headed or from being scared. I don't know. Because imagine if you're just this being flying around the universe or
Orbiting a
parallel
star.
universe, or yeah, you're a star or another being with like all knowing being, and then all of a sudden you're just some jerk dishwasher. You know what I mean? That would just
Mm.
mess you up. Everybody would just be killing themselves left and right.
No, I feel like we sign up for this stuff. We have meetings.
Like,
There's a committee that greets you after your death,
hmm,
walks you through your life, take inventory, and you spread out a little, and like you leave energy signatures by the ones you love, so they always have access to you
sure.
whenever they need you
I don't want
while
to.
you move on and start planning your next life.
Well, I hope it's more of all the good things you've done.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
see,
know.
therein lies. So where we were talking about the nine. So Thoth or Toth is one.
Yeah,
Atum, and he jerked off the universe. Like he jerked off and then like ejaculated out of his mouth the universe.
interesting. Sounds
I
like
feel like that's
someone.
a big symbol for how powerful we are when we masturbate,
Sounded like
for as
someone.
far as manifesting.
Sounded like someone jerked off in his mouth and he spit it out, and it was the universe.
He
It didn't take
jerked
us
off
long
into
to
his
get
own
this
mouth.
far, huh? Didn't take us long to get. But no, yeah, I mean, yeah, I tried to look in a lot of those individual ones, and it's tough to find the information. You know what I
So
mean?
yeah, I studied the ancient mystery schools of Egypt
Sure.
with a certain organization. And it's all this stuff about how to use your energy body, all the stuff that, I mean, we've been distracting ourselves with the mighty feat of how the Egyptians were able to build the pyramids. And we
Hmm.
created these like narratives that don't really make sense to explain everything. And like this stuff, being in touch with the nine. So okay, there's the nine deities in almost every ancient civilization. There's also Jesus. Like Horus was the original Jesus in Egypt.
Hmm.
There's um God dang it, I'm blanking on, but there's that story resonates through almost every ancient culture. And a lot of people say it has to do with the stars. But in one of those meditations, similar to that one where I met an alien, I got to this Christ consciousness place.
Sure.
And there was eventually, after this big introductory display, there was this um, atrium
Mm-hmm.
It was like a library spiraling up and all these people out on the outside, and we were standing in the middle, and there was one specific person who divided into two, and then behind him was 12. I assumed it was 12, and I didn't know what that correlated with. But because this was like I'm gonna just say it was a Jesus experience.
Yeah.
um and I'd been pagan, I was witchy my whole life, I had rejected Jesus in churches and all of that whole culture my whole life, and then I was accosted in meditation by Jesus Christ and Mary
Sure.
Magdalene, as the twin flame,
Yeah.
introduced to me by my dad, in a way we talked about, but in that same position was the heart that went sacred and turned into the star that showed me a tattoo of Jesus's face. And that's how I related.
Hmm.
Whoa, this is nuts.
Yeah.
And then I stepped kind of into that light, and there was this big atrium, and it felt like there was a big committee there, but there were 12 people here with this Jesus Mary presence. And if I looked at them long enough, I could see all the lives that they lived, all the veils that they put on to experience life on this planet.
Interesting.
And that's what it feels more to me like, is like a realm. We live in a realm. And that's also a symptom of mental illness.
Yeah. Well,
which I've been pegged with,
Yeah. I got me a nice dose of that.
It feels like a lot of our innate abilities, when we don't have neurotypical goings on upstairs.
Yeah.
Instead of saying the kid's not, like, they've got a wild imagination, or they're dissociating, or putting them in touch with other people who have the same kind of tendencies.
Sure.
It used to be a practice. That's how we got shamans and healers. They always existed on the outskirts of civilization, but you'd go to them when you needed them.
Yeah. Well, they believed it all back then too. Along the way, it's become fable, and no one wants to believe a lot of that stuff. It's a little more convenient that way, so then you don't have to face the truths of yourself or what else is out there.
It just dawned on me too that alien that the alien face, it was as if we just video chatted. Felt more physical and like thick than this Jesus Mary presence.
So maybe it was a lesser form, or it was just the way
It's
they
like
were showing it to you or something.
Or that was just how they telepathically communicate. Like, I tapped in and it was too much for my little pineal gland.
Well, I'm definitely intrigued into doing more meditation. Shit, you made me meditate with you not that long ago. That was tough. I could only handle 5 minutes.
It's tough. That's why you got to practice.
Yeah.
So it gets to the point where you're not bothered.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I had to do a little today. I don't know. I was just feeling it for today. Trying to get into the mode for this and just everything else in the world.
Today's Wednesday?
The Wednesday.
Is today when it is?
Yeah.
All right. Because Thursday is like a big day for that.
Oh, why?
Thursday. I'm not sure why, but it resonates through from, actually, I don't know. So, but that was definitely, it was part of the rituals of this organization.
Huh. Yeah.
Because it was very ritualistic.
You told me about it because you and I were talking about going to Egypt, and then the pandemic happened, and so I'd still like to do that someday.
Same. I've been looking at these sacred journeys.
Yeah.
Maybe we should add them.
I'm all about it.
Because there's one that goes through all the sacred sites in Egypt. There's one for India too, India and Nepal. There's like a package deal. It's like $5,000. and like another 1,400 to add on a second person because you get your own room.
Oh, good.
And like,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go on some spiritual, like, let's all hang out in a tent together kind of crap. I
no,
would
but
hate
it is
that.
a pilgrimage, and
Sure.
it's pretty powerful.
My
What's his
aunt's done
name?
some stuff about in India like that,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I hear they're going through some shit right now.
In India?
hmm
Yeah,
From the Chinese. Is that still happening?
I don't even know.
Anyway,
Part of my journey lately is to ignore all goings on outside of my world. I don't know if that's good though.
well, that's where you have to be to tune in. Some of those Dr. Stephen Greer meditation groups, Kesha
hmm
and what's her name, Demi Lovato,
Oh yeah, they went on his excursion.
Coppola, and those girls, like they have footage of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
group
If
of people bringing
anybody
in
out there should
UFOs.
go, even just Google image the CE5 images. They're pretty interesting.
Can you
All
pull
kind.
some up
Not on here now. I can add some. Yes.
like later, like
Yeah.
plug them in,
hmm
plug them in here? Does that work? Give you a couple of these.
There you go.
Pop a picture. Look at these.
No.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
liked, although, and there it is, Demi Lovato. She's having like a breakdown. I feel like you have to kind of have a breakdown or several, or have had kind of a difficult life to be cracked open a little bit and receptive to this stuff. Childhood, even.
Well, that would make sense because the more put together people I know are definitely the most against this kind of stuff. The ones with
Right.
trauma or even just their own mental illness are definitely more into accepting those sorts of things.
I don't know. I feel like the people who even represent that put together demographic,
hmm
they're just hiding it better.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
trauma of living is fucking,
I think there's some few people that are just ignorant bliss
that's
types
true.
that just straightforward. This is my plan. This is good enough for me. They figured it out at a
3D.
young age, or their parents were better at jamming it down their throats or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's all about what kind of drugs you use too.
Yeah.
If you look at different countries and the drugs that they allow, like one of the most illegal substances is mushroom.
Yeah.
Not the one that'll kill you, the
hmm
one that'll
Open
cure
your
your
mind.
depression
It
and
was
help you talk
that
to fucking deities.
one of the stories I was reading on that Andrija is he was interviewing some guy for his psychic abilities, and the guy took a mushroom and also put one on top of his head, and he like freaked out more than anyone else he's ever seen. And he during their little seances or channelings, he was like able to come up with all kinds of information.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell that means.
I wonder.
Yeah, so next time try. I still have to try them for the
You
first
think you
time.
could do it with chocolate?
Well,
No, you probably have to have the mushroom.
if
It's the
it
flesh of the
tasted good,
gods.
don't give it to me because then I will just keep doing it.
Mushrooms?
Yeah, you said in
No
chocolate.
way. Oh, and chocolate? Yeah,
Yeah, if it was in chocolate or something, I would take too much.
delicious. No,
I got
I
no
would
self
only
control.
I'd cut you a little corner off.
If
Well, depending on if you're microdosing or not.
oh sure.
It's a whole different game.
If I was if alcohol brought you there, I'd be good to go.
It takes you away.
Yeah, I know.
Disembodied. You become disembodied in a void of drunken,
Oh,
dreamless sleep,
yeah, my favorite.
drunken slumbers.
Uh, the
That's what
dis.
I was saying though. Like if you look the drugs most consumed in this country are nicotine, alcohol, and caffeine,
Mm-hmm.
and now narcotics. I guess that's right up there next.
Sure.
But I mean, that's what keeps you working and then numb after work.
Yeah, I guess that brings me back to that point. Numb is the way right now.
Mm,
I'm sure it has
mm.
been in plenty of times in history, but it's certainly mainstream.
So
We
we're
all
coming
find them.
out of we're coming out of the density of the Iron Age into the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
And Egypt was in the Golden Age, and Atlantis.
That infuriates me how we've lost history. Do you
Oh
know how
yeah,
much farther we'd be along? Because even Egypt was 2 steps away from their previous,
but it's all a game.
civilizations.
You gotta start over levels.
I guess. But it's stupid. I don't like it.
'Cause-
It's even, I mean, just think about not even that long ago, just in Greece, the libraries they had just burnt to the ground because it was different from what other people believed.
Mhm.
Those, well, even forget what it's called. See my fog?
Which one?
The ancient libraries, it was a specific name. Jeez Louise.
Dang it, I know it too. Alexandria or
Yeah,
something?
it was in Alexandria.
Yeah.
I was just reading about it in Carl Sagan book, how they
I
had
love him.
millions of volumes of stuff, and only a few got taken out before they were destroyed.
Right, they had so many scrolls and
Yeah.
scrolls and scrolls.
Well, and that was just like the Renaissance, frankly, as they were just seeking out information.
Yeah, fucking book burnings and shit.
Yeah,
Come
and then it
on.
turns around and something else comes along, and then they're like, nope, 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 nothing ever happened once before, never ever. It's disgusting.
Nothing to see here. Get back to work,
So I wonder. I mean,
folks.
that's bound to happen with us, but it's gonna be a lot harder with the internet, and it's just a little more spread out. So there's gonna be some. I don't know if there's some sort of apocalypse. There's gonna be some crazy guy looking for some external hard drive out in the middle of the desert somewhere with all our information on it to
Mm,
start civilization over again.
mm. So in there, it dawned on me. Back when I was practicing my Merkaba meditations, I had found this channel on YouTube, and I mean not a YouTube channel, like a channel who put videos up on YouTube, and she channeled the White Winged Collective of Nine.
Hmm.
Her name is Magenta Pixie.
Hmm.
You should tag her
Sure.
because she's channeling the nine.
Hmm.
And when I was doing those Mercado, it was God, it must have been 2008. I was living in the basement of an animal hospital, fresh out of rehab. And when oh God, I went to rehab, and I had been just numbing myself hard, like with booze.
Yeah.
And I was 25 by the time I was in rehab for it, shaken. I was in the Shake Shack for like 7 days
Oh
before I
wow.
could get, a handle on a glass of water
Sure.
because I would spill it, shaking and sobbing. Anyway, um, so shit. I want to say my magic or whatever you want to call it came back to me. I was living in a sober living house, and I was at home on lunch. I popped on some headphones and took I was planning on taking a tiny nap, but I just laid there listening to this music. And then I had this kind of, I felt my chest was glowing, and with my eyes closed, I could see it was glowing pink. And then out from that pink was the shape like R2D2 projected of my grandparents dancing when they were young. I was listening to old 40s music. It was beautiful. I was like, holy shit, I felt them. I felt them loving on each other.
Hmm.
It was incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that was like when I was like, oh. Animal Hospital, though, that's when I found the Merkaba meditation, that 17 breath
So, okay. I
meditation
was
where
gonna
you
ask what's the difference between the Mercata and the other ones.
Merkaba,
Merkaba with a B.
Merkaba. So it's like Mer is spirit, Ka is, oh no. Wow. I don't know what it is. Google it quick. Oh, let me just find it. Let me pull it up. Um,
So that
anyway,
was the
and
17th breath one you said?
yeah,
Hmm.
Merkaba mysticism, School of Jewish mysticism, Merkaba meditation. So, and that one had me peeling out of my body. but I had to really practice it because it was very specific. You had to use different mudras to direct your energy. You had to visualize light and triangles and shit moving through your body. And you have a spinning pyramid on top pointing up and one pointing down, and they intersect. And you get that spinning in opposing directions with your breathing and your mudras. And then you dial in by saying 9/10 the speed of light. And then stabilize. And you stabilize your spinning, what do they call them? Tetrahedrons.
Sure.
And in breathing lights the top one, out exhalations lights the bottom. And then you say like 3421, and somehow that stabilizes your disc, and you're just now you can go anywhere in any time in any direction, including multidimensional. That's how they could see that stuff with radar, like I said before, but that's also how you get in position for remote viewing. And to consider that Google Earth flyover,
Sure.
doing your research before you remote view, you can peer in on anybody, anything. It's kind of creepy.
That's pretty interesting how of course, our society uses it as a weapon. They just try to get everybody to well, instead of let's figure out what's going on out there, let's go see what's going on in Russia or whatever, Israel or whatever. What kind of guns do they have? That's all they want to know. I would be asking a lot more questions than that.
See, it's like universal law, though. If you go meddling with this stuff, you bite your own ass.
Sure.
I would love to be a fly on the wall there, though, and try and see like the lasting repercussions people have for different karmic debts they incur.
It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that you have to. That's why it's a process of initiation, which is probably why when I made contact at that point in my life, it was like settle down. Then I wasn't settling down like I should, like I'd been practicing.
Sure.
So like, I see you, you're here. Well done. Go get your shit together. In just a moment of disappearing.
Sure. Huh. Let's go.
I've been meditating a lot lately.
Have you been?
Yep.
You feeling a lot better?
Oh, better's yes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I do my tarot readings. So I feel I tap into those people in their lives in the same way. Only their energy doesn't show up as hardcore as like the alien head or Jesus.
Sure.
Oh, so speaking of drugs, D.M.T is where I met like Indian deities, Kali and Ganesh.
Oh.
And a celestial dancer. And I had to look her up. And once I found her, there was on Google or whatever, there was a picture of a statue looked just like this thing that greeted me when I blasted off on D.M.T. It's
That's
incredible.
Another one that terrifies me. I don't know what the hell I'm scared of. I'm 40. Who knows how much time is left? I need to experience these things.
Yeah, get in there.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell the difference
You'll
is.
be okay.
I know I will.
You'll be better.
Most of the people I know have gone down those streets and have been all right.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I microdosed for 1.5 years, and it I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Just turned that shit off for me. I was eating better, engaged in my days. I have depressive episodes, and they were like all but eliminated.
That's awesome.
They're coming back because I don't dabble much anymore.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I need. Well,
Some mushrooms, some microdoses.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. What the hell's the difference?
Ooh, there's a big difference.
Yeah. Well, I need to find that difference. Make my life better.
Just do it.
I will.
You know what? So set and setting is the biggest, but you could do it alone.
Yeah.
You might even be more comfortable alone. And then you can just express and just observe in your own space, in your own time.
Well, I think I need to do a lot of these to get out of my aloneness. I like doing everything alone. I
Yeah,
should embrace some more people in my lives.
for sure.
It'll help you.
It's good to have a guide too.
Yeah. No, there's a few people. You are one of them that I would definitely feel more comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm down. It's
Yeah.
been a while. I found too that lately, instead of like, there's been a couple of times where I was just kind of, you know, just hurting or heartbroken, like heavy life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fuck, I'm just feeling it. And not that I wanted to escape it, but I was like, I bet you these mushrooms would help this open up a little bit so I could process it better.
Sure.
And I'd just take a little tiny bit. I wouldn't feel it, but I would feel what I was feeling more appropriately in a more honest way, instead of trying to like dispel whatever my issues were with fear or self-doubt or um, some other narrative. It would help me get back to center.
Sure. No, I think that's good advice.
Yeah,
I
me
think,
too.
I don't know, I think we've touched on some good subjects with all the things we've gone down today. I think that we should save some for some later episodes. I think we're
We
gonna.
should,
What's that?
definitely. I was like, we should definitely do this again sometime.
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to get more in since we're both very into the ancients. I'd like to get into some of that architecture and such.
Yeah, Dropa discs,
Yeah. And the
turkey
pyramids,
tunnels.
all the good stuff. All the good stuff. So if you like what you hear, this is Abnormal, Strange, and Weird. Follow us pretty much anywhere, ASW Cast 303. And if you want to send us an email or join us or ask us any questions, it's aswcast303@gmail.com.
Join us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we'll talk to you guys soon.